Second grade Common Core Content Standard 2.md.a.1. Measure the length of an object by selecting and using the appropriate tools such as rulers, yardsticks, meter sticks, and measuring tapes. Students need to understand which tool will work best for measuring short and long distances. For instance, they need to know that it's easier to use a ruler to measure the length of an eraser rather than a yardstick. This standard can be a little bit confusing because some of the choices that are made for which tool to use to measure an object can be subjective. For instance, for measuring most objects, I personally would choose a measuring tape. I can easily measure an eraser with a measuring tape all the way up to a classroom or a person. It doesn't matter. A measuring tape, you usually get the job done. Most tests that I've seen on these standards are multiple choice tests, where a student has to know which option to choose, and oftentimes a measuring tape won't be one of those options. So on tests, the type problems the student might see is how tall is a person, and they'll need to know that the best choices are if they see a yardstick or a meter stick or a measuring tape, that would be the best choice for them. They might see how long is a book or what's the length of a classroom, and they need to be able to choose the appropriate tool. Students may also be asked to measure items and show their measurements either according to the metric system or to the U.S. customary measurement system. Students need to know how to measure both ways. They need to know that if they're measuring in the U.S. system, they're going to use miles, yards, feet, and inches. If they are measuring according to the metric system, they're going to need to know kilometers, meters, centimeters, and millimeters. For second grade, usually students will need to know the difference between measuring inches and centimeters. They are not often asked any more than that. A common mistake that students make is that they don't line up the zero when they start measuring an object. Many students will just grab the ruler and start measuring from any number, and they won't actually line up the zero. So students need to be taught that they need to line their measuring instrument up at zero before they actually measure the object.